promoting and supporting some of the cornerstones of the American experience. It's all about family, faith, and freedom. Now let's get back to the Curtis Report with your host, Barry Curtis.
Thanks, Ed. Welcome back to the Curtis Report. Appreciate you being here. We are talking about pretty serious subject matter here. We have had an expose, if you will, for the last few weeks about Dallas County Commissioner John Wiley Price. John Wiley Price is currently serving your county as your county commissioner. He's the longest serving county official in Dallas County history. He's currently under a federal indictment, 107-page federal indictment. He's likely to be convicted and probably likely to go to jail. In the meantime, he's still serving as your county commissioner. He's still collecting your salary that you're paying as taxpayers for Dallas County. In addition to that he has asked the judge and was granted by the judge to have taxpayers pay partly for his criminal defense. This is your currently serving Dallas County Commissioner. We are asking on this program, I am asking Barry Curtis for the Curtis Report, based on the tremendous amount of information that I've already indicated in previous segments, and this to follow in this segment, that John Wiley Price, for the good of the people, for the dignity and the integrity of the office that he holds, for him to resign. In the previous segment, we talked about John Wiley Price's history, and we gave a summation in the first, second, and third segments as to how he is unfit from his race baiting and his racial biasness, for his questionable business activities as outlined in that 107-page federal indictment. And then the third segment about his historical violent behavior that we chronicalized there. We're going to go over again here and add one additional criminal, violent activity. Well, in my opinion, criminal, violent activity to that list. John Wiley Price is clearly a man who is angry, and I think by his own admission, he'll tell you he's angry. There are certain things that get him angry. And when he's angry, he clearly acts out in a violent fashion. There is a history of violence with this man. Accusations of rape and sexual assault, of violent physical assaults against elected officials. This is from your county commissioner, John Wiley Price. A history of violence. We can remember the assault that he made upon Justice of the Peace Charles Rose this years ago. Now keep in mind, this is an elected judge. John Wiley Price assaulted an elected judge here in Dallas County. A history of violence. He assaulted, number two, he assaulted Christian Lane, who is a practicing attorney. He disagreed with what the attorney was saying and doing. He physically assaulted Christian Lane. A history of violence. Number three, he physically removed a poll watcher during an election from a polling place. A duly elected poll watcher who had a right to be there. And guess what? As you can imagine, the poll watcher probably was watching the polls that he didn't appreciate him watching. The poll watcher probably was a poll watcher designated from an opposing political party. He physically removed the poll watcher from the polling place, physically assaulted the poll watcher. A history of violence. This is your county commissioner. We all know about the verbal and physical assault by John Wiley Price on Officer Robert Bernal, a licensed police officer, a peace officer in the state of Texas, Dallas County, Dallas City of Dallas police officer Robert Bernal. John Wiley Price assaulted the police officer. A history of violence. What gives with him? A history of violence. We know that there have been a number of female, either acquaintances or employees of John Wiley Price, there's been 4 of them at least, that have accused John Wiley Price of sexual assault. One of them, Betty Culbreth, have come on the record as saying, on the record, he sexually assaulted her in his place. She graphically describes in detail, which I won't hear, of how he forced himself upon her. He sexually assaulted Betty Culbreth. No charges were filed against Mr. Price. Betty Culbreth did not go to the DA. A history of violence, not only with her, but other employees that were in the office. Employees had to be reassigned because of questions of sexual harassment and sexual assault, in the opinion of these females that used to work for him, had to be reassigned with other county duties. Again, none of these resulted in criminal charges. None of these people went to the DA, partly because of fear from John Wiley Price, because he has a history of violence, because you're seeing an individual who can assault judges, poll watchers, other attorneys, police officers, and nothing happens to him. A history of violence from John Wiley Price. If that wasn't enough, John Wiley Price was arrested for attempted murder in 1972. Did you know this? For attempted murder. He allegedly pulled a .22 caliber pistol from his car and shot a man in the right shoulder and left index finger in a dispute over a woman. A history of violence. John Wiley Price, although it was no billed by a federal grand jury later, but John Wiley Price, get this, you're serving Dallas County Commissioner John Wiley Price was arrested for attempted murder because of a jealous rage. He shot a man twice. A history of violence. You're serving Dallas County Commissioner, the man who's getting your taxpayer-funded salary, the man who you're paying taxpayer-funded funds for his criminal federal indictment, for his defense, for his 107-page federal indictments, for using the office to enrich himself, that's the nature of the indictments, for tax evasion. He, in 1972, was arrested for attempted murder. No bill by the grand jury, no time served, no charges, no bill, but he shot a man twice. Then he lied about it. See how he lied about it? He turned himself in immediately after the incident, telling police that he had hidden the pistol along a freeway. That's what he told the police when he turned himself in. He shot a man twice over a woman, a jealous rage over a woman, took the gun, hid it, turned himself in to police. You know what he's doing? He's hiding the evidence, right? Hid the gun. He's smart. He hid the evidence. Hid the gun. Immediately turned himself in, said he hid it in the freeway. Then later, he claimed that the gun belonged to the other man and the discharge accidentally. Different story than what he actually told the police on police reports. Your county commissioner, John Wiley Price, arrested in 1972 for attempted murder. This is the man who's serving as your current Dallas County commissioner. This is unacceptable. I am calling clearly for the resignation of John Wiley Price, and you should be as well. You Dallas County residents should be as well. It is a history of violence. Striking Justice of the Peace Charles Rose, assaulting the attorney Christian Lane, removing physically a poll watcher from a polling place, physically assaulting and verbally assaulting police officer Robert Bernal, innuendos and charges of sexual assault by former employees and acquaintances of John Wiley Price, including one who came on the record, Betty Culbreth, a daughter of a friend of his, came forward on the record and said he sexually assaulted her. And we have attempted murder in 1972. This is a history of violence. John Wiley Price, you're unfit to serve. You're an embarrassment to the office. Have you no shame? Have you no moral compass? Resign. Resign, Mr. Price. Resign. We'll be back in just a moment.